the leader of the British National Party, Nick Griffin. Nick Griffin, you said if Churchill were alive today, his own place would be in the British National Party. Why do you say that? And why did you hijack his reputation?
I say that Churchill would belong in the British National Party because no other party would have him for what he said in the early days of mass immigration into this country, for the fact that, quote, they're only coming for our benefit system, and for the fact that in his younger days he was extremely critical of the dangers of fundamentalist Islam, in a way which would now be described as Islamophobic. I believe that the whole of the effort in the Second World War and the First was designed to preserve British sovereignty, British freedom, which Jack Straw's government is now giving away lock, stock and barrel to the European Union, and to prevent this country being invaded by foreigners. Finally, my father was in the RAF during the Second World War, while Mr Straw's father was in prison for refusing to fight Adolf Hitler.
What was it?
Straw was attacking me, and I've been relentlessly attacked and demonised over the last few days. And the fact is that my father was in the RAF during the Second World War. I am not a Nazi. Right. I never have been. Without a shadow of a doubt, I appreciate that if you look at some of the things I'm quoted as having said in the Daily Mail today and so on, I'd be a monster. Those things are outrageous lies.
Which is the untrue quote that's been said about you? The Holocaust denial, possibly?
The vast majority of them. Far too many to go into, but...
well, let's just go to denying the Holocaust, for instance. Did you deny the Holocaust?
I did not have a conviction for Holocaust denial.
But you did deny it? Why are you smiling? It's not a particularly amusing issue.
I was very critical of the way in which the Holocaust was, and is, in fact, abused to prevent serious discussion over immigration.
Just you say you're misquoted. Ethnicity. I want to see Britain become... Wait. Ethnicity. Please, ethnicity. I want to see Britain become 99% genetically white, just as she was 11 years before I was born, on race, right? Mixed marriages. It's sad when a unique human genotype becomes extinct. Islam, we'll come to it later. You say you're misquoted. All I'm saying is, I can't find the misquotations, and apparently nor can you.
No, a misquotation then in the Mail today says that I said that black people walk like monkeys and so on. That is an outrageous lie. And I appreciate you being extraordinarily angry about a statement like that. I never said such a thing. I never said such a thing.
All right, you made your point.
Statements.
All right, let's go on round the table here. So,
what we're dealing with here with Nick Griffin and the BNP is a politics which actually is as old as the hills. It's a politics of finding people to blame, to scapegoat. And that's exactly what Enoch Powell did in the Rivers of Blood speech. And I don't think he would recognise this country today. If you think that 1 in 2 of all Afro-Caribbean children under the age of 16 either have a white mother or a white father, that's how far this country... And fear peddling, hatred and fear against a minority that actually has to defend itself. And I think that's outrageous. It's completely against the traditions of this country.
I'm talking about the one Adolf went a bit too far. I never said such a thing. I am the most loathed man in Britain in the eyes of Britain's Nazis. There are Nazis in Britain, and they loathe me because I have brought the British National Party from being, frankly, an anti-Semitic and racist organisation into being the only political party which, in the clashes between Israel and Gaza, stood full square behind Israel's right to deal with Hamas terrorists.
Well, answer this point about the video. Because there's no question of you being misquoted on that. It's on video. Yeah, and you are saying...
Wait a minute. And you were with the head of the Ku Klux Klan,
no.
David Duke. He's there in the picture, standing beside you. And the interesting thing to me is...
He's there.
He's there. I've seen it.
I've seen it. Let me explain it.
Well, okay, all right. He's in disguise, perfect. Anyway,
He's there.
But this is the key point, and it goes to the heart of this programme tonight and of everything you've been saying and what Chris Huhne has been saying about you changing the views of the BNP. What you actually said, as he quoted, is perhaps one day the British people might change their minds. And you went on, but if you put that, i.e. getting rid of all coloured people from Britain, as your sole aim to start with, you're going to get absolutely nowhere. So instead of talking about racial purity, we talk about identity. We use saleable words: freedom, security, identity, democracy. Nobody can come and attack you on those ideas. But the truth is, what you were saying there was, that's just the start of the story. And when we've won public support, then we can go to our proper agenda.
Absolutely.
I shared a platform with David Duke, who was once a leader of a Ku Klux Klan, always a totally non-violent one, incidentally. That one.
Nick, excuse me. Don't go and talk about the Ku Klux Klan.
It's a vile organisation.
The point about this is, why should anybody trust what you say? Why should anybody think it's any more than a facade?
Why should anybody trust any politician? All of us. As simple as that, really.
It's not as simple.
Sorry, I apologise. Sorry, I apologise.
Which starts off, rule one, the BNP is not a racist or racial party. Well, no other party has to say they're not a racist or racial party. Okay. Secondly, just 1 second,
all right.
Don't hesitate to repudiate bad aspects of the BNP's past. And this, I tell you what this reminds me of. Reminds me of Dr. Strangelove. This guy is the Dr. Strangelove of British politics.
Okay.
Old was the myth. How could you say that? How could you?
Can I answer those 3 points very briefly? Firstly, for that one, I cannot explain why I used to say those things. I can't tell you, any more than I can tell you why I've changed my mind. I can't tell you the extent to which I changed my mind, because European law...
This is rubbish.
Because European law prevents...
There is no law here that stops you explaining yourself.
And we refused a European arrest warrant on precisely this from a country that does require Holocaust denial to be an offence, and we refused that.
And as a Justice Minister, I promise you, if you want to explain why you don't believe it...
You have the freedom now to explain it.
But unfortunately, the French courts and the German courts would not recognise me that.
I'll sort that out for you as well.
The Justice Minister.
Confirmed it the other day. You start off. Why is it a wicked and vicious faith?
Because it treats women as second-class citizens. Because it says that a woman victim of rape should be stoned to death for adultery. And because it orders its followers to be harsh with those of the unbelievers who live near to them, and it ordains as a religious duty the murder of Jews as well as other non-Muslims. That's in the Quran. There's no point shaking your head. There are good points about Islam. For instance, it opposes usury. It wouldn't have let the banks run riot in the way that the Labour Party and the Tory Party have done. There are good points, but it doesn't fit in with the fundamental values of British society: free speech, democracy and equal rights for women.
So what's your policy on Islam?
My policy on Islam is a truce with Islam. I'm not the one with the blood of 800,000 Iraqis on my hands after an illegal war, whereas Jack Straw is. I've never hurt one single Muslim. I believe that the West should stop trying to de-Islamify the Middle East and should leave those sovereign countries to run their own affairs. We shouldn't have gone into Iraq. We must never go into Iran, despite the fact that's where the Tories will take us in due course. We should leave them alone, and we should ensure that if Muslims are staying in this country, they do so on the understanding that our country must remain fundamentally a British and Christian country.
Sorry, can you just explain, if Muslims do stay in this country, what must they do?
They must acknowledge that Britain always has been and must remain, and it's right that it should remain, a fundamentally British and Christian country based on Western democratic values and not on the eternal values of the Quran. Sorry, the English, you people wouldn't even let us have our name on the census form. That is racism, and that's why people are voting British National Party, because we feel shut out in our own country. They have guided tours in the Lake District have been cancelled because only English people, white people, were going on them. Gloucestershire Police. No, it's not. Gloucestershire Police. Gloucestershire Police turned down 108 recruits because they were white.
Wait a minute. Let's get back to the question.